Hello, everybody, and welcome to the webinar today, What's New in Sage 100, version 2022. Today's webinar is going to be a little different than others that we've done in the past, as you will see shortly. Let's wait just a few minutes for some of the stragglers to come and join us, and then we'll begin. So in respect to everybody's time, it's going to be the fastest few minutes. I'm going to start now. My name is Andrew Crane, and I'm a business analyst and solution engineer here at Net at Work. Those of you that don't know, Net at Work was founded 25 years ago, and our priorities are to help businesses maximize technology. You can see some of the bottoms of our affiliations, our recognitions. We are over 250 employee experts in various fields. We have over 6,000 clients and 18 offices around the country. Our ecosystem, as we used to call it, is pretty diverse. You can see the different ERP systems that we support and deploy. We also have employer solutions. We have been offering for a few years cloud and managed services, as well as CRM. So our role, our responsibility, our care is to make sure that we take care of as much of your technology needs as we can to make sure that everything stays connected and you can maximize your time in running your business. As usual, all the phone lines are going to be muted. The presentation today is about 30 minutes, give or take. It's like I said, it's going to be a little bit different. So if we do have some extra time, we may actually go over some of the features that were brought out in 2021. We will not be doing any polls today or surveys. So what is new in 2022? A lot of times, what you will see is a lot of different features, benefits, things that come throughout the system. This particular version of Sage has been primarily focused, as you will see, in production management. However, across the board, they have brought out a few things. There is faster lookups and more options in your lookup features. They have been expanded in sales order and customer maintenance. There's a lot easier ways to save some of your settings, as you will see. One of the problems that has been resolved is 64-bit integration for Sage Intelligence, which should help speed up some of the power and speed. Prior, also, they used to include spell check and full text search. Used to be involved in the subscription only, and it has now been brought into the full line of Sage 100. And for those of you that are using the visual process flow, it has been enhanced. There are more screens and more capabilities in creating your own. And as you will see, production management has some big changes. So the auto check, auto complete, spell check is now, like I said, involved and added to all the Sage different versions, or different models, I should say. So here you can see there is spell check, and I just brought this up where if you have certain words that are misspelled, you can correct them, and you can also add them to the data dictionary. And those can be turned on or off under your system configuration. One of the things, if you noticed on your searches in the past, you had some fields available that you could say begins with, contains. Well, they've added to the bottom full text. So now it doesn't just look at one of those fields available. it will look through all of your fields available. So whether it's the name, the customer number, if you do select full text, it's going to look in all those available fields that are in your custom lookup. It will not look in fields that aren't in your lookup, but if you have city, state, it will include those as an example. Something else in sales orders that they've added is the ability to look up quotes. Now, down here it's grayed out, but in the screen, you can see that they have added quotes. So now if you want to do search for quotes, only for quotes, you now have that capability. They've also added some lookups in customer maintenance and inquiry, and they've expanded options in security as well. Some of the other global features are the ability in your setups to exclude, and here you can see in the company maintenance, you have the ability to display inactive vendors, customers, and items, as well as restricted warehouses. So for those people that have struggled with having 20,000 items in inventory and they only have 1,000 active items, they can now in the setup restrict what you're going to see. So you don't have to look through and wait for 20,000 items to load. Another feature is in custom reports. When you modify reports, you can save the date selections. So down here, you can see where we may want to restrict something in the report to specific dates. We can actually save that within the settings of the reports. Now, in payroll, there's been some changes, and there's a strong integration between payroll and accounts payable. So we do have the ability to actually create invoices when we update the payroll check register. So they've brought a lot of features connecting payroll into the other side of AP for Sage. So you can look at that if you're using the new, look forward to it if you're using the new payroll. Also, in some of the reporting, the unemployment tax has been broken out. Another nice feature that has been requested is the ability to pay somebody out of their pay cycle. So if I have some employees on weekly, some on monthly, and I need to cut a check on for a weekly time period for a bonus or commissions, that is a new addition for Sage in their payroll. This is going to be the biggest. So those of you that had used work order in the older versions 3 or 4 years back, they came up, they had a third party actually rewrite work order so it would be in the new business objects interface. And this year in 2022, they've actually brought it back into the Sage family. So the first change is now it is one of the modules to install when you're doing your installation. Something else that's happening is they've added new views to Business Insights based on work order. They've also modified in item maintenance. In the past, there were only 3 file types that would be saved if you wanted to save images. And as you can see here, they've added JPEGs, PNG, and TIFF files. So one of the things that's going to be different when I do the demo is I am not going to be demoing production management. We are going to be having a separate production management webinar coming up in 4 to 5 weeks, which we'll talk about more later, and those we will keep you advised in the emails. Some of the other changes made to production management, they've added a lot of options. There are user-defined fields that we can add. They've expanded the work ticket templates, so when you need to create a work ticket, you can use a template to bring over all the options and everything that you want. Employee maintenance has been added. They've made work ticket entry and labor entry easier. They also have a new inquiry where you can look up where materials are used, and there is a tight integration also with payroll. Additional, like I said, are the materials of where they're used. If you are coming over from an earlier version, there is the ability to convert your data, whether it's work order or prior versions of 2018, 2019, so the data conversion is simplified. You can also create a work ticket for a bill without even leaving the header tab, which again, like I said, you will show those in some of the demos in a few weeks. Inventory management planning, so IRP, is actually automatically installed now with product update 1 for 2022. And there is a utility, if you've used the MRP module in the past, there is a utility that will convert your MRP data over to IRP. Those of you that have not seen IRP, you will notice that unlike MRP, that is a report, IRP is an interface. It's more of a grid-based opportunity to look at what materials you're going to need both for work orders or sales orders, what you're going to need for the manufacturing process, who your vendors are that supplies that items. It will give you recommended quantities to order, and it will actually allow you to create purchase orders directly from IRP. With that, you can then understand what your demands are going to be. And there is even a feature to add manually if you know you have specific demands coming up. So now what I'd like to do is just show you the basics of what we were talking about. There is another slide that I want to talk about that has to do with what is happening over at Sage. And I'm going to come back to that slide in a while. So here, as you see, this is 2022. So part of what we were talking about was the setups. So inside of Library Master, inside of Company Maintenance, we have the ability to pick some of our preferences of what we want to select. Do we want to use see inactive vendors or not? Do we want to see inactive items or not? On the dates, we have some new restrictions that we can now put out a warning on the dates, whether we want to see 2 periods before, 2 periods after, and how we want to allow. So if somebody's about to make an entry in a date that is outside the scope of what you want, this will throw up a warning so people don't start posting things to prior periods that are open or future periods. So it gives you the ability to throw in a warning and make it a little bit easier. And as I said, the 64-bit, this is something that is just part of the system. Also, if I jump over to accounts receivable, whether I look in maintenance or inquiry, and if I bring up a specific customer, I think this one should have something. And when I look in sales order, we now have the ability to add to see quotes. We also have the ability to see master orders. So in the past, when you would look up orders, you would just see standard orders. You would not see, you do not see the quotes or master or repeating orders, and now you have that ability, whether it's in the lookups or in running reports. This has been a requested feature. One of the things that you'll see is in Sage is the ability to share your ideas. So there is a link over here on the Information Center that if you have ideas that you want to improve on Sage, that you can go to this site, part of Sage, you can mention what you'd like to see. And as Sage starts getting a lot of responses, what you will find is that they're going to incorporate them. So this is a way to find out, get some of your needs incorporated into Sage. So we talked about spell check. We talked about the search. One of the things in the search, customer maintenance, if I wanted to bring up that customer again, let's bring up Avnet. And if I go to do a memo, and let's see if I have any memos here, I don't. So I'm just going to write security. And so if I had anything that I wanted to add, we can put things in here. We can do typing. We can add as usual. And so if we do need to see these memos, they will pop up automatically. This is a feature that's been around a long time. One of the things that I do want to go over, I think I have time. I would like to add the what took place in 2021. Now, normally we're just going to restrict these to what is current in the current version, but we thought it was important because of the second webinar coming up that I do include some of the features that took place when they came out with 2021 for those of you that are not updated to that. So one of the big features in 2021 was the ability to create what they call company types. And so when you create a company in Sage now, you have the ability to define it as live, archive, demo, or test. And there are features inside of Sage in security that keep you from overwriting. So it's a role security that you can only allow certain people to copy over a test company. Also, when you do some of the processes, it's going to ask you which type or company type do you want to do the process for. That we found has been very, very strong. Check number fields. So before in accounts payable, when you would be writing checks, that has been expanded to 10 characters. And that is carried throughout accounts payable, bank rec, general ledger, payroll, if you're using payroll, and purchase order. And that actually came from some of your ideas that was requested. So when you also notice that down here, where we have the user code, you have the ability of what shows up now, whether it's the name, their user code, which is the default, the email address, or their name. So we have different versions there. Also, it was in 2021 that 64-bit processing came into play. And what we saw was there were certain features, or Sage Intelligence was one, where they were having some difficulty with that. In accounts payable, as you know, in 2021, there was the new 1099 non-employee compensation. So that was incorporated back in 2021. If you're using an older version, there are either utilities that you have to use or custom reporting to get those new forms to print. We also had the ability in 2021 to either use an original cost or a current cost when you're applying credit memos against certain items. When we do bank reconciliation again in 2021, we can now exclude the wire transfers from positive pay. So those of you that do have positive pay with your banks and you are uploading a file, you can now exclude, or as of last year, exclude the wire transfers. Role security 2021 became enhanced, and there is now, instead of in the main, we have security set up where it's under a security tab. We have the abilities. Sage, by the way, comes with some default. If you'll notice, you'll have some default roles. These now come with Sage that you can utilize we can copy the roles, or again, you can sit and just make your own. Also inside of here, it gives the ability to convert yours, or you can take certain other types of roles. So we can now define roles and categorize roles for reporting and other features. There is also, let me close this. There is also a lot more reporting on the roles that you can see here. So under reports, I'm sorry, over here we have the role reports, we have inquiry, so we can see which features are available to what users or what roles. There's a lot more reporting for you in role security. The one thing that I do want to bring up in this webinar is what's taking place at Sage. Let me see if I can get my slide up here. And let's get that up. Here we go. Okay, so you may all have heard from Sage about Microsoft going to disable basic authentication on October 1st of 2022. Additionally, Microsoft is removing the TLS, what they call transport layer security, version 1.0 and 1.1 in September, which means that Gmail, Outlook security, third-party programs like Avalara, paperless office, mail delivery are going to stop working. And so what we've found so far, and we're in communication with Sage, is that the basic authentication feature, the one that they're going to, Microsoft is going to shut down October 1st, they're saying that you need to be on version 2021 product update 4 or higher. Regarding TLS, you're going to need to be on version 2020 product update 1 or higher. Our entire staff is working on this, so we make sure that you don't disrupt your business. And we will be reaching out to you all very soon to assist you in finding out what your options are to upgrade so you don't disrupt your business flow. I did see a few questions come up. First one that I see is, will there be a downloaded copy of this webinar? And the answer is yes. I believe a link will be sent out. So keep your eyes open. Otherwise, what you will see, let me bring this back up to here. Okay, so also if you are interested in an upgrade, by the way, and I'll come back to your question, please reach out to our website where we can give you a quote. It's going to ask you for the versions and some of the features and have you do a few things so you can get a ballpark quote. Regarding this webinar, what you're going to see later on, and I'll show you, is the name of your account managers, and you can feel free to reach out to them if you don't get the information directly from us. So another thing that I wanted to offer is that Cloud at Work is having a special. For those of you that are not utilizing a hosted environment and are managing all your servers and all the workstations, and you're finding it's a lot more costly and a lot more work than you want to do, Cloud at Work is offering 3 months of free Sage cloud hosting with Cloud at Work. So the only restriction is that you get this started in 2022, and you will receive 3 months free. So you can reach out again to your account manager, and I'll have those names up shortly if that's something that you are interested in learning more about. Please, if you have any questions, just type them in the question box. They'll pop up and I'll answer all those that I can. Those that are more complicated, we will reach out to you directly. So before I answer some of the questions, I do want you to know that Net at Work has a lot of resources for you. It's the live web events. We have a full resource library, netatwork.com/resources. You can see our various events at netatwork.com/webinars. And we have a blog at netatwork.com/blog. Again, webinars at netatwork.com. Now, these are your account managers, and then I'm going to go and answer the questions. So if you have any questions, if you want to get more information about something, if you want to talk to us about an upgrade or a problem that you're having, please feel free to reach out. So some of us, I'm reading this now, those of us who have multiple companies, will there be an option to upload journal entries to multiple companies at the same time? Generally speaking, and I've been doing this about 35 years, if you have a source file that has multiple balanced, let's say balanced multiple journal entries, there is a way to get that done. But I do want you to know it's something that you have to use caution when you do. You can save settings to not show inactive vendors, but can you also do the same to hide inactive GL codes? That is not a feature yet. If you would like to bring that as an option, you can always, excuse me, do it in your custom lookups. But as a global feature, you might want to make that suggestion. Something that you might also want to suggest if it's of interest is in the past, I've heard people be interested in restricting GL codes for posting based on role security. Maybe if a lot of people want that, that can happen. Has there been any talk of increasing the invoice number length in AR? And the answer is not yet. So at this time, we can do that in custom programming, but that's it. For the Microsoft upcoming authorization changes, does that only impact single sign-on? This user separates Sage user accounts from their network email accounts. This issue about authentication is pretty universal in its impact. So my recommendation, Brian, is to reach out to the account manager and make sure we talk about your specific situation, because it is a Microsoft. So this is a Microsoft issue. This is something that's going to be impact a lot of areas, whether you're using Avalara, whether you're using just your emailing of invoices or purchase orders or sales orders. There's a lot of different ways that you're going to communicate, and I recommend that you speak with us. We'll find out your specific situation and assist. Are there any other questions? And like I said, this is a shorter one than usual, but there will be a follow-up for those of you interested in the new changes in production management. For those of you interested in wanting to explore and learn more about work order so you can manage your manufacturing processes, please reach out to your account manager and make sure that they have your name and information. So when we put this specific one together, we're going to send out a blurb. Perhaps we can reach out to you also directly, so you have that opportunity to learn more about production management. If there are no other questions at this time, I'm going to say thank you for being part of this. We appreciate your being present. We look forward to servicing your needs. We look forward to assisting you in making the most out of technology and leveraging technology to make the most out of your business. We're here to help you grow in any way that we can. So thank you again, and I look forward to the next time we speak.